Since November 2024, Republicans held the White House, the Senate, the House, and heck, even the Supreme Court is conservative. Now, as a Republican, if I had to rate these Republican politicians based off how they delivered for the people who voted them in, I'd give them at best a 5. It's actually embarrassing that they didn't do jack shit for people who voted for them. No effort on the SAVE Act is what pisses me off the most. The majority of the country supports the SAVE Act, showing ID to vote. They're not trying hard enough on it. They're basically showing no effort. They're throwing their hands up, and I feel like going into November, this just won't get passed. No effort's going to be made. And they just worry and talk about the dumbest things that I just don't care about. They're basically a mouthpiece for Trump and MAGA at this point. And their messaging has just fallen behind too. Now listen, I'm not going to keep getting into all this because I already talked about the bad performance of the Republicans in office right now. However, because of the piss poor performance, midterms do not look good for Republicans at all. So, DDHQ forecasts a Democratic House, 50-50 Senate in November. Okay, let's take a look at the article. Democrats are in position to win the House this fall while the Senate is on track to hold a 50-50 partisan split. That, of course, is because of J.D. Vance's tiebreaker vote. Just over 100 days out from the election, News Nation partner DDHQ forecasts Democrats clinching a 227-208 advantage in the House, while Republicans narrowly retain power with Vice President, like I said, as the tiebreaker. As it stands, there's a 62% chance that Democrats win the lower chamber and 57% probability that Republicans hold the upper chamber. So I'm not really worried about the Senate too much. I'm worried about how the Senate acts and how useless they are. But it was common sense that Democrats were going to win the House. We knew that since, mid last year. Okay, and it's not just DDHQ projecting that. So many other places are. You could just tell. It's common sense that Democrats will take the House. Republicans are accepting it. Trump's already worried about voting, rigged voting. Listen, the SAVE Act is so important that it would change a bit. I don't think it would change that much, but regardless, whether it's in our favor or not, I think the SAVE Act is just a basic thing to do. I don't know why anybody would be opposed to it. Show voter ID that you're a legal U.S. citizen to vote in our elections. I just think that's common sense. I don't know why anybody would be opposed to that. But regardless, I'm just mad that, you have the Republican White House, the Republican Senate, Republican House, and we just didn't do nothing. We should have been passing so much stuff. And I hate the filibuster. I hate the 60 votes, and I get that. That's a hurdle. But it just sucks that you can't even make an effort to really fight. These politicians always say they're going to fight for us. They don't fight for us. Once again, here's why I'm not necessarily worried. Okay, so what you have is a cycle in politics. That's just how it always goes. Parties in power always have the disadvantage. Let's start there. All right, if you're a party in power, you're going to get criticized a lot. Trump, party in power, of course, Republicans holding Congress. Third party in power, they're going to face the criticism. Anything bad in this country is going to go towards the people in power. We see that no matter who's in office, Republican or Democrat. So it's a cycle. Democrats will have the same sloppy message that it's all about beating Trump. They got to defeat Trump. All the issues in America are Trump's fault. So they're going to run on that, simply defeating Trump. They don't really have any, issues with the economy, foreign affairs, the border crisis, housing, safety. They don't really have too much messaging on that. It's simply about beating Trump. They say, if we could just limit Trump's powers, we'll be okay, even though I don't have any other answer for anything else. So we saw in 2020, 2024, it was a complete mess. The economy was terrible, and our border was absolutely terrible, letting in millions and millions of illegal immigrants that damaged our economy, that we are trying to just do catch up now, trying to get rid of all of them who came in. Okay, what Biden did, Democrats did for us, was absolutely atrocious. Could you really say you were happy during 2020 to 2024? Could you really say you were happy with the state of our country? It was going downhill fast. But the cycles happen. People of America were mad, so they had a clean slate with Republicans. They swept all swing states, won the House, won the Senate, a lot of upsets that we didn't expect. Why? Because they were fed up with 2020 to 2024. They were fed up with those 4 years. Now Trump's in office. He's not doing a good job. His approval rating's low. The economy's not doing too hot. It's not doing terrible, but it's not doing too hot. Of course, we're seeing all this stuff with ICE. People get emotional with that. It's just not a good look for him. So all the things that bad happen, of course, with the wars as well. The Iran war is absolutely a mess. They could have handled that a lot better, Republicans. I'll admit that. But the American people see that. They see the gas prices, the grocery prices, which I don't think are too bad. And they just go right to blaming Trump. So they're going to look at the people who come in, such as Democrats, and say, well, I could be the change of this. People vote Democrat. Democrat holds power. And then after a few years of Democrats not doing anything, it'll go back to Republicans. It's always a cycle. Why I'm not worried? Because we'll see. after a few years of terrible performance from the Democrats. I guess I should be worried how this country's not going to be too good with them in power, but I'm not too worried because we'll just win it right back in at least 4 to 6 years anyway. That's why I'm not really worried. Democrats want to have their message that they beat Trump. That's all they got. All right. Have fun for the people who vote for them. Go ahead. Vote for them because they get stand up to Trump. Okay. See how good that will be for our country. It won't benefit you at all. I promise you that. That's how it always goes. Democrats' messaging for the past 10 years has always been stop Republicans, stop Trump. It doesn't really work out for them. Just how it goes. Make sure to comment down below, leave a like, subscribe, help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm out, guys. Peace.